like Benson, I'm a who that. I'm a who that. Long as I'm living, I'm a who that. Lose or winning, I'm a who that. Sports Coma, yeah, this is where we do that. Where we do that, where we do that, where we do that, where we do that, where we do that. Boogie like Benson, I'm a who that. I'm a who that. Sports Coma, this is where we do that. Where we do that. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Somebody please better help. Running this thing like Elf. I thank God every day I'm not a felt. Go to YouTube Live with Big Q and the guys. If you ain't ride or die, the bandwagon get flipped. Been marching in, that was way for the ring. I was yelling out your chain for the championship. Bucking on town, duck down. Falcons, pluck, get shut down. Panthers ain't much touchdown. The vision really belong to us now. So much hate on the Saints, you could probably tell. Ever since Bounty Gate hit the NFL, when things seem fishy, then you probably smell the crooked referees or Roger Goodell. Yeah, money like this, and I'm a who that. Every day I'm living, I'm a who that. Lose or winning, I'm a who that. It's the Sports Coma, this is where we do that. Where we do that, where we do that, where we do that, where we do that, where we do that. Boogie like this, and I'm a who that. It's the Sports Coma, this is where we do that.
You're listening to the Sports Coma with Big Q and the guys on the PRO Media Network.
All right. Shout out to the mighty Who Dat Nation. We up in this thing. Sports Coma representing, man. Big ups to you guys. I appreciate y'all for being in the live on this one, man. And of course, as you know, we up in this thing, man. Shout out to FanDuel, the official sponsor of the show. It's brought to you by FanDuel. Much love to the fam, man, as your boys on the road. Located in Florida right now, man. That's what's in Florida. Much love to y'all. Good to see you. What's up, Scoob? Shout out to my guy, Scoob. Much love to you, my brother. Appreciate you. The OG himself is in the building. Shout out to you, my brother. That's right. This is live. What's up, fam? What's up, Antoinette? Shout out to Antoinette. Good to see you as well. Appreciate y'all, man, as always, man. Listen. Yeah, that's right. Hey, yeah, man, they got gators down here, man, but they ain't touching with gators we got down there in Louisiana. Let me tell you something, man. I found recently the greatest concentration of alligators, man, in the country, the Atchafalaya Basin. If you guys never heard of that before, check it out, man. It's something interesting. All right, big ups to you. Appreciate you, my dog. Appreciate you. Much love. Hope you're doing good up there, Scoob. What's up, K-Mac? Shout out to you, man. Appreciate you. Who dat to you? Appreciate you guys. Hadn't been able to live talk at you guys for some time, but I appreciate y'all, man, for being in the stream. Do me a service, fam. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and by all means, feel free to share the show on social media feed, and by all means, feel free to hype the stream. Now, in the broadcast, man, we're going to be talking about the fact that finally, Slick Mick Loomis, man, Slick Mick, I know, goddammit, I told you. Slick Mick Loomis made it happen, man. He finally approached Alvin Kamara's agent and made the deal happen. Alvin restructured. And now, we're going to kind of break this down. Shout out to the Who Dat Daily. That's our official headquarters site for all things TSC. Pelican Post Game Report, Don't Matter, Tough Tiger Talk, Ring Kings Boxing, and the Sports Coma headquarters site. Breaking it down. But yeah, this is interesting, man, because this news was kind of leaked by Nick Underhill and Teron Armstead. We seen the report there where they kind of broke the news, and and everybody else started confirming it. But the thing is, we knew at some point something was going to shake in terms of what the Saints was dealing with Alvin Kamara. As we see, it's July the 15th. I think it's July the 29th. Y'all correct me in the chat, is when Saints camp start off. Training camp starts July the 29th, July the 15th. Now remember, there was this was key because the Alvin Kamara contract issue had to be resolved before the Chris Olave situation. That's why this article is entitled Saints Alvin Kamara Restructure Changes Everything, what it means for Chris Olave, Travis Etienne, and the salary cap. So right now, the information in terms of this deal is not out. not completely out yet, right? Most of the sites like Over the Cap have not reported the fact that AK-41's deal is true. Of course, that more than likely will be released coming up soon. Matter of fact, let me do a quick thing and see the details and see if it come out. But right now, I just checked not too long ago of the arrangement, but that's officially official. The arrangements of the Alvin Kamara situation had not been released, but you best believe that that reworking, all of that will come out probably in a day or so, probably soon. But nonetheless, this is the thing, man. Let's go over the news, man, for this particular item and how it impacts the next moves going ahead as well. So here we go right here. Months of speculation surrounding AK-41's future in New Orleans officially came to an end Wednesday as the Saints and the five-time Pro Bowl running back agreed to a restructured contract that keeps one of the franchise's most accomplished players in black and gold. The news first revealed by former Saints left tackle Teron Armstead alongside Saints insider Nick Underhill ensures Kamara will report to training camp as he prepares for his 10th NFL season in New Orleans. For much of the offseason, many believe Kamara had played his final snap for the Saints. The signing of Travis Etienne Jr. to a 4-year, $52 million contract fueled the trade rumors, while general manager Slick Mick Loomis openly acknowledged there was, quote, resource management, end quote, element surrounding Kamara's future. And now the Saints have their answer. Kamara stays, but his role in the financial structure surrounding it has changed dramatically. Now, this is Adam Schefter right here, for a firing tweet here. And this is, we'll get into why this deal was necessary. Like I told you, there are other components. It's like a domino effect. AK-41 deal had to get done. And then this opens the door for the big deal with Chris Olave's extension on time and on pace before the deadline that he issued. It wasn't a hardcore deadline, but he did recommend, it says that he would like to get the deal done before training camp, because he did not want it to go into training camp and be a issue. That's from his words. So while the deal was necessary, this wasn't simply another routine salary cap structure. It represented a compromise. Early this offseason, the Saints converted over $10 million of Alvin's base salary into a signing bonus, lowering his cap figure while creating immediate financial flexibility that helped move New Orleans into becoming more salary cap compliant. But it didn't resolve the larger question. Kamara was scheduled to carry a significant cap number despite entering at the age of 31, season following his least productive of his career. He was limited to 11 games because of the MCL, and he finished with 471 yards, 3.6 yards per carry, and 1 rushing touchdown. Now, one of NFL's highest paid running backs, those numbers simply didn't align with his contract. So both sides understood adjustments were necessary, and the results appeared to be a team-friendly agreement that reduces Kamara's 26 compensation while guaranteeing his place on the roster. Remember, he has 1 year left on that deal. So, of course, why it makes football sense. One mistake many observers make is assuming that Kamara must continue handling the 20-plus touches every week to remain valuable. That's no longer the plan. Under Kellen Moore, Kamara's greatest impact may come as one of football's most dangerous complementary weapons. The Travis Etienne effect. Signing Etienne wasn't about replacing Kamara, it was about redefining him. What do we mean by that? Etienne projects as the Saints' primary early down runner, bringing explosive speed, outside zone ability, home run potential to the offense. That allows AK-41 to operate where he has always been his best at, which is on the passing downs, motion packages, option routes, screens, wheel routes, red zone mismatches. Instead of absorbing punishment between the tackles every series, Kamara can become a specialized offensive chess piece capable of creating matchup nightmares against linebackers and safety. Sometimes fewer touches should mean or could be produce greater impact. Now, the salary cap ripple effect. Perhaps the biggest winner isn't AK-41. It's the same salary cap. Before Wednesday's agreement, New Orleans had roughly about 5 to 6 million in available space. So the new structure is expected to create approximately anywhere between 4.5 to 5 million in additional flexibility. That pushes the Saints closer to 10 million in available operating room entering the camp. So those savings matter. Regular season injury replacements, practice squad elevations, emergency free agent signings, potential in-season trades. Every dollar creates some sort of flexibility. For a franchise that has spent years navigating one of the league's most complicated cap situations, breathing room has real values. Now, as we move into, does this help Chris Olave? The answer is simple, yes. Chris Olave has publicly expressed his desire to finalize a long-term contract extension before training camp. That timing suddenly feels more realistic. Olave enters the season playing under the fifth-year option of his rookie contract while carrying a cap hit of approximately 15.5 mil. A new extension would almost certainly reduce the 2026 cap number by converting much of the compensation into a signing bonus spread across future seasons. So the additional flexibility created through Kamara's restructure makes the process significantly easier. While nothing is guaranteed, Wednesday's agreement clearly improves the financial path securing the Saints' cornerstone offensive players. This move tells us how the Saints envision their offense. With Etienne, he's the engine. Kamara becomes the weapon. That's not a demotion. It's sort of like an evolution because Kamara's most memorable seasons came when defenses couldn't predict where he'd line up or how he'd be used. So Kellen Moore now has an opportunity to recreate that unpredictability. So if Kamara embraces the next phase of his career, which is, the final year in his role in the Saints offense, New Orleans could feature one of the NFL's most versatile running back tandems. So sometimes preserving greatness meaning changing how you use it. So in the final segment of it, it mentions why does this matter? The Saints simply avoid losing Kamara. They clarify their vision for the future. The restructure accomplishes several important objectives. One of the franchise's greatest offensive players in New Orleans. It keeps one of them in place. It creates meaningful salary cap flexibility. It strengthens the chances of completing a Chris Olave extension. It allows Travis Etienne to assume the featured rushing role, and it gives Kellen Moore another experienced playmaker capable of thriving in a specialized offensive package. For months, the conversation centered around whether Kamara will remain a Saint. Now the conversation shifts towards something far more important. How dangerous can this offense become with defined roles, improved financial flexibility, and one final opportunity for one of the greatest players in franchise history to chase another postseason run? Training camp is about to provide the first answer. So this is the article right here. Y'all want to share it or read it, you can go to thewhothatdaily.com. They broke it down pretty good. Much love. But this is interesting because and y'all can chime in, the Alvin Kamara signing, like I said, this was something that Mickey Loomis should have been done a while ago. But I knew coming into the next few weeks leading into before training camp hits that Olave is serious about getting this done. And the Saints are on the timeline because he was serious about not carrying that over in the training camp. So it's a domino effect. Mickey takes care of the Alvin Kamara restructure. It frees up more money, which could be then used to get a deal done with Chris Olave prior to training camp. And to be honest with you, the Saints have been woefully late in executing and getting this stuff done. I don't know why it took so long, but the whole Chris Olave thing has dragged on since last season. Well, before that, actually, because they could have given him an extension in his fourth year. But and the thing was, if they could have given him an extension in his fourth year, when he was dealing with the injuries, they would have gotten a bargain there. But they wanted to see if he can become an elite level receiver for them prior to the fourth year. Yeah. And prior to the 4th year, they could have did that. But what they decided to do was see if he can be the guy in that year. And what happened was He bet on himself and he won. He went to the casino and cashed out. And while that was going on, the Saints just kept waiting and kept waiting. And then you seen all of these receivers. You seen the guy from Seattle. You seen Drake London. You seen all these other wide receivers get these monstrous deals. And what it did was it helped boost Chris Olave's demand for money in line with those. So it cost the Saints money. So having Elvin's restructure helps aid in having that extra money to be able to some way facilitate a deal where they can make that stuff happen. So we'll see how it all shakes, but not a real surprise that this happened. I knew it would happen now. Now I'll be looking out for the Chris Olave extension. That's the next thing we'll be looking out for. What's up, B-Lo? Shout out to B-Lo. Whereas Kamara shines in open field and get great mismatches in pass game on the linebackers and safeties. Yeah, that's that. Yeah. OG say where that hater dunking at now. And he said that, fam. Remember we did the show on that man, and I told y'all about that guy. I've been around long enough to know sometimes he involves himself in thirsty right, and he don't do it. He does it every now and again when he needs to spark some type of debate or bring attention to something that he's writing. He'll throw out some flim flam like that, and I just can't respect that. I can't respect you doing that. That's why players don't like people like that. And then you can tell his allegiances fly wherever the wind push him at. He ain't got nothing really solid he's standing on. Because if he was, he wouldn't have participated in that type of nonsense. What's up, Maul and Maul? Shout out to Maul and Maul. Much love to Debbie. What's up, Debbie? Shout out to you guys. Appreciate you for being in the stream. Yeah, Scoob says this offense is loaded. Yo, indeed. And this is good, man. This is a wonderful thing. What's up, The Truth? Shout out to The Truth for being in the stream as well. I appreciate y'all, man, for stopping by. Y'all hit that like button and hype the stream for me. Yeah, Debbie said glad for Kamara. Yes, indeed, because that means that the optics are good again, family. The optics are good. Like I told you before, Alvin Kamara isn't going anywhere. I told y'all that. I said there will be no trades. There won't be any of this nonsense that they're talking about. Every other week, there's several trades sending him to every team in the hemisphere. There's one about he going to Cincinnati, he going to Denver, he going to the Niners. And I was like, these people, you're wasting your time writing these articles. They're fantasy. It's all fantasy. He is not going anywhere, and he's not. His main thing was he wanted to finish his career as a New Orleans Saint. He's the greatest Saint running back we ever had. He owns all of the statistics. So he wanted to remain with the team. He had 1 year remaining on the contract, and guess what? He's finished. He's going to finish his career with the New Orleans Saints. And that's a positive, beautiful thing. Just like Cam Jordan, the optics are good again because you got two greats. You got you're probably one of the greatest, if not the greatest Saint defender. He most certainly is up there with Ricky Jackson, Sam Mills, them guys. But you got one that could possibly go down as the second greatest Saint behind Drew Brees. Most certainly if you talk about guys that were drafted, Drew is definitely the greatest free agent the Saints ever signed. No doubt about that. But in terms, if you break it down at a sub level and say, who's the greatest player the Saints ever drafted? That's Cam Jordan. That's Cam Jordan. So Cam, that's a first ballot Hall of Famer right there, especially after this season. If he is able to add anything north of 7-8 sacks, which he most certainly could do if he stay healthy, that will propel him up into even higher status. I would dare say after this year, he would definitely be, because some people argue that he might go in second ballot, but I would definitely say after a solid year this year, there will be no doubts to what he can do in terms of his selection after he retires and takes up talking on the NFL.com or whatever. But nonetheless, the optics are good for the black and gold. Having Cam here for one more year, having Alvin Kamara here for his final year is very big. It's great and it's awesome. Maul asks Q, why they cut Moose Alford. Alford was hurt and they did a injury waiver with him where they pay him off and then waive him. He got hurt. That's why the Saints got rid of him. He got hurt. All right, what's up, Brian? Shout out to Brian's, man. Appreciate you for being in the stream as well. All right, Scoop says Q, it takes long because Kai's brain be on vacation all the season from working all them numbers. Yes, indeed. He is definitely the guy. But like I said, man, the Saints was making it even more I ain't gonna say difficult, but it's the Saints are committed to not, kicking the can anymore, right? These last two drafts, smart signing of undrafted guys, because that's how the Saints been getting along for a long time, is by getting a lot of mileage out of undrafted guys. Carl Granderson, Rashid Shaheed when they had him, and others, JT Gray, these undrafted guys that come here and make a name, become starters, and over time, Juwan Johnson is another one. So you got several of them in important roles on your team. Your kicker's an undrafted guy, you know. So I mean, the Saints are really smart about how they find these guys. So now that you're drafting well, because there's three ways to improve the team: you either sign them good in free agency, you either draft them well, and you hit in the undrafted market. So free agency, draft, and undrafted situation, and of course you got the trade thing. But if you're doing well in at least two or three, in which the Saints did really well in free agency and picking up guys last year. This year they are expected to do very well. David Edwards is a good fit with the Saints offensive line. You've seen that happen. Noah Fant is a complimentary piece. Travis Etienne will be the featured back. So you have several interesting people that have been brought into the defense and offense and even special teams with the kicker, right, that will help propel the Saints to greater levels, I think, in 2026. No doubt about it with the Saints. But when you hit in free agency and then when you then draft well, like the Saints have done over the last 2 years, and then the players that you're drafting, like last year, had an important impact on the team. Last year, you got your quarterback, your franchise quarterback, and Tyler Shuck, and several other key members, to help out. Kelvin Banks Jr., your bookend. You got your blindside tackle, you got your quarterback of the future, and you got others, solid players, Jonas Sanker and all these other guys, Pete Stutzman. So I mean, not Pete, Danny Stutzman. So you have all of these different people that you were able to bring on to the team that really stepped up. Now we don't know what Vernon Brockton's going to be, but I think Vernon Brockton should be a very solid defensive lineman. I know he's strong as an ox. And he's ready to go. But the free agents, what they did in the draft this year, and I believe this upcoming year, will show a lot. Even with some of the guys on the back end of the draft, like Matavo, who really showed something last year. And then, of course, you've seen Fadil Diggs, who was barely beat out by Chris Rump II. So this is going to be interesting going on as well. All right, what's up, Brother Duke? Shout out to you, man. Appreciate you for being in the stream, man. How you doing? Yeah, what's up, man? That's right. I'm alive. I'm in the building. But yeah, that's the thing that we talk about here, man. So the Saints, man, I'm not going to keep y'all for long, man. I'm just touching down with y'all guys on this restructure news that Alvin Kamara has done, because now it sets the stage for the Chris Olave situation. So now that happens, we can the Alvin Kamara stuff can go away, because it really was old. It was old shtick with these writers writing all these fantasy stories about him going over here and there, and the man told you he didn't want to go nowhere. He wanted to stay. So yeah, it's good, man. So shout out to Alvin Kamara, man, for working with the team. And this could have happened a long time ago, man. This could have happened a long time ago. I've been telling us, Mickey, stop sending kites through the press. Go directly to the leadership and get it done. Make it happen. Get out your feelings and go get that done, man. Because we need to get this stuff happening so we can step up and handle the damn business. Don't you know what I'm saying? We got business to take care of in 2026, man. We got to get out the damn cellar and make some stuff shake. You know what I mean, fam? So yeah, that's the take on that, man. So good deal. All right, let me hear from you guys, man. What you guys think about this signing, man, and how do you guys feel about it? Let me know in the chat. What's up, Tim? That's right, fam. Shout out to you, man. Appreciate you. as well. And thank you for the donation.
Donations. 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 Gifts. 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 More gifts. More gifts.
That never gets old. All right, thank you, Tim. Appreciate you, man. Yeah, man. Man, you take them damn gifts and finish that school. All right, what's up, Scoob? He says, Q, that GM by committee approach has definitely proven a solid strategy the last 2 years. Yeah, I cutely name it Slick Mick and the GMs because Kai Arley, man, is a major part in it. He crafts the contracts. You see him standing next to the guys because Mickey Loomis done moved up to another level. He's like the board of directors of his, guys. He'll and that's the thing. He has Thomas Dimitrov. He has Randy Mueller there. He had another guy. The other one left, but he also has, a former GM as well, and Jeff Ireland. I guarantee you, Jeff Ireland's sitting in there in that boardroom too. So those are Slick Mick and the GMs, and having that many advisors, the people to kind of work with you on ideas for what needs to be done. Man, listen, that is a tremendous help. As you can see, a lot of the moves Mickey Loomis has made over the last couple of years have gotten a lot more craftier and a lot more intelligent, and it's because of this GM by committee approach with Slick Mick and the GMs. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, no doubt about it. All right, shout out to you, OG, for being a member for 25. As Umar would say, months. Shout out to you, my brother. Appreciate you, man. Yeah. All right. So yeah, that'll work right there. Yeah, people gonna get it, man. Yeah, hit the cash out. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. Hit the cash out. Yeah, no, we ain't nothing no more, bro. You stop eating that money. Be fat as a son, bitch, eating all that people money up, man. That boy talk about everything but that school, man. He be on everything, talking about celebrity people, man. Shut up. Go. Oh, don't tell me it's not that easy, man. We supposed to be a lot further along in 2026. All right, but yeah, this is good news, man. Like I said, it's good news because it's one less distraction that we at the Who Dat Nation have to deal with. I'm so happy that it's finally over with. Alvin Kamara, the Saints approached him. He agreed to take the money to help them, and this helps Chris Olave out tremendously, fam. Trust and believe. That helps out big time. OG, shout out to you, my boy. Congratulations on that, man. Keep working, bro. You doing your thing. But yeah, this is a tremendous thing, man, to be honest with you. About this, I'm really happy about this because I do think I believe in rewarding folks when they handle business, when they do it. Alvin Kamara, like I said, man, he was one of these players. He's the best running back you ever had, and you want to be able to, afford him that ability to finish his career as a New Orleans Saint. So we were fortunate enough when the time comes to have two all-time greats, whether it's Cam, whether it's Alvin, to go from start to finish with one team. You don't see that often. You don't see that often. But we had two guys in the same time frame on two different sides of the ball, dominating with excellence. Alvin, greatest running back Saints ever had. Cam, arguably the greatest defender the Saints ever had, all on the same timeline with the team and finishing their final year this year. Now, that could change depending on how far the Saints go. Because when Cam said this is his last year or something like that, man, that all gonna change, man. You think that if the Saints make a deep playoff run and or win a Super Bowl, that Cam won't consider defending it? I think he'll change his damn mind quick. I mean, if like the Saints get to the bowl and win it this year, Cam is coming back. Even if they go to the bowl and don't win it, Cam is coming back this year. So we'll see what's going on, man. We'll see. All right. All right, Scoop says Q. Could Taysom be coming back for one more year, if nothing more than an embarrassment of riches? I would say no to that. I think the talent stops there. I think with Taysom, because I mean, it would be cool to see him back because he's such a force and having so many um, weapons to give Tyler Shuck. If you give him Taysom Hill on with, that would be insane. But I just don't think he's coming back. You've seen some level of consistency with Cam Jordan, Alvin Kamara, and them being around, making mention like Elvin was talking about. Yeah, I'm not going. I'm not interested in playing another team. If they try, he didn't say if they try to trade me. He said if the scenario is thrown out there, he said I'd probably be on the beach, drinking pina colada somewhere. They let the Saints know that you're not gonna trade me. If you try to trade me, I'm gonna just retire. You're not gonna get no value for me. I want to finish my career. I got a 1 year contract left. This type of thing. So you've seen some level of consistency from players. When Demario Davis left, we knew that he wanted to play. It's not the same with Taysom Hill. He's really kind of because he's injured, trying to work his way back to health. But there's been no level of consistency from Taysom's end. Now you heard press conference where Mickey Loomis was asked about Taysom Hill, and he said that the player or whatever had the right to self determination. Which means that he's a free agent. He can do whatever he wants to do. So I'm probably saying no to the Taysom thing. It'll be interesting to see him come back, but I would have to say no to that. I don't think the Saints, not that they're not willing to bring Taysom Hill back, but Taysom would have to come back. He had to get healthy, be ready. I don't know if he's healthy, even healthy enough to practice right now. He would have to be cleared. And once he does that, then he would have to accept a humongous. He had to have to. He had to take a humongous cut in pay. To be honest with you, have to take a big cut in pay to return to the Saints because they're not doing the thing where they kicking the can no more. That's what this whole thing about is going down the line, finding guys where they could free up money. That's why we talked about this on previous streams when we were hitting on guys that when you talk about what Mickey called Elvin's situation, which was a resource management issue, which means that the money does not meet the production, right? It doesn't meet the production. Thus, we have to adjust it accordingly. Well, there's several people on the Saints team that can apply to. It really is. There's several of people that it can apply to. And that's Divine Gacho, that's Isaac Yidam, it's Cesar Ruiz, who has a big cap hit himself. So I mean, does that talk stop because Elvin restructured? No, I mean you still have Chris's contract. Of course, I think Chris Olave's contract get worked, but after that extension gets worked and they free up some money, you still have Cesar Ruiz at 14 almost 14.2 million and cap number. He would have to step up, and that's why I think the kind of writing's on the wall for him in terms of the Ruiz debacle. He got 2 years remaining on his contract, and his replacement is already there. So you don't have to rush him to do anything to step up. They can let Jeremiah Wright perform, and Mickey already said they're not going to cross train him. And so, I mean, how big the tea leaves got to be for you to read them? Your replacement is Mickey already said that the man ain't gonna be playing multiple positions. No, we're not gonna do that to that guy. We're gonna let Jeremiah Wright. He'll play the right guard position. We're not gonna cross train him. They cross train everybody, but not Jeremiah Wright. No, because they want Jeremiah right where they got him. Right where they got him so he can learn that right guard position. And eventually, the Saints will move on from him to a cheaper player with higher upside. So this is the thing. This is the NFL world. This is how the stuff works. Right? All right. All right, shout out to you, Scoop. Says, yeah, Cam would change his mind. Yeah, the Taysom thing, I'm gonna have to say no to that, my boy. Now he would have to, like I said, my understanding is Taysom is still hurt, still rehabbing. I don't even know if he'll be healthy enough to attend training camp. Maybe down the line, perhaps. But as later on, as you go and you go and you go, if he gets healthy and is interested in coming back to football again, because he's a free agent, somebody will be willing to pay him a lot more than what the Saints will. Remember, he banked out with Saint contracts, Taysom Hill. He made a lot of money with the Saints, right? We seen that with Taysom Hill. Taysom Hill made a lot of bread with the Saints. He really did. Matter of fact, hell, the Saints owed Taysom over 13.7 plus mil in dead money that it's on the cap right now of the what is 130 112 point plus a dead cap money for this year. Well, almost 13.7 plus mil of it is Taysom. Taysom Hill it doesn't work for cheap. He's a guy, he learned that from Drew Brees. He learned that shit from Drew. I don't work for cheap. I like to run into people, but it's gonna cost you some money. Well, hold on out there, Taysom, man. Listen, guy, you have the right to self-determination, you can go head on out there, guy, because it's places somebody's going to offer him a lot more than what the Saints can offer him. And if he comes back healthy, it'll be, I ain't going to say nostalgistic, but it just would be one of these situations where, he thinks the Saints are contending, he would take less money. Because to be honest with you, more people will pay Taysom Hill money, big 3 times what the Saints will pay him. What a vet minimum. Because a lot of the slots of foot like this late in the game, the Saints went through the draft, then went through several layers of free agency, then went through the undrafted ranks, and even though some of these guys might not end up to Taysom, the money, because the Saints are not kicking the can no more. They have a whole change in their focus and how they want to operate going into the future. So this is something and the reason why is this not just because it's just responsible family. It's because when you start looking down the line and you play chess, not checkers, you understand they know that what they're doing because you watch and learn. When Chris Olave, because he's about to get paid next, don't be surprised that it's not tomorrow or 7 days from now, because that's what this Alvin restructure was. I told you all that long time ago. I say, family, they're tied together. That's why you're not seeing people kept asking me, Q, what's going on, man? Why aren't they, what's going on? They're letting the guys, Jackson Smith and Jigba, he signed this big old deal. Then you had Drake London later on, and you had several wide receivers that signed big old ground shaking contracts that came into place, right? And like, why is the Saints taking so long? Why did they? Oh my God, that's because they made some boo-boos, right? They made a few flubs, and nobody's perfect, and I'm not jumping on them, but I got to tell you some of the mistakes they made that kind of helped, that kind of hurt them. One of the biggest mistakes they made was they allowed Cam Jordan's contract to expire before giving him an extension. Even if it was a year or something like that, they allowed that to expire. And when that happened, it hit the Saints for almost 19 million in dead cap hit. That was a big boo-boo by the Saints, by Slick Mick and the GMs. That was a major flub, no doubt about it. That was a major flood, because had the Saints negotiated a 1-year extension, that amount of money would not have hit the Saints cap. That could have been moved strategically into the future. But instead, when that happened, because Cam was being real adamant about the kind of money he wanted and what kind of changed, he told you that is because they kind of did the incentive thing, but they waited them out and it got close. He was like, you know what? I got an itch to scratch. And he said he asked his wife and his children. But hey, man, you don't have to ask your wife or your children if you want to play football and you just had 10.5 sacks last year to lead the team, and you're sick in what, his 15th year, and you're going to 16. He's not an old looking man. You know, Cam kept himself in shape. He's young at heart. So you don't need that. So you had an itch to scratch, right? So they waited him out, and he took the incentive laden deal that the Saints originally offered him. But he was pissed about that. But credit to the Saints playing chess, they waited him out on that. But that is a major problem. That's why the money right now, they're really fretting about it, because that was a major problem, the 18.7 million. But of course, Taysom was a free agent, so he fell off. So it's 13.7 plus for him. There's almost $12 million in Ram check money. We know about several other players that's on there that add up money. The dead money is composed of, Tyrann Mathieu retired. Brandon Cooks was 3.2 million. The dead money, they got him out of there. And then the rest is Colin Saunders, Foster Moreau, JT Gray, Isaiah Foskey, the Snowman, Cedric Wilson Jr., Rashid Shaheed, and Jake Hayner. So, but the biggest of those, the biggest sum, outside of, I'm not going to even talk about the Derek Carr thing. With Derek Carr, his dead cap money is over $36 million. But the biggest flub this year in terms of what happened, what they could have averted, was the Cam Jordan thing. So on the back end, they got him on the incentive laden deal, which was smart. But the money kind of messed with their attempts to kind of add, the Chris Olave thing. So when that happened, then they had to figure out a way to create more money or more revenue to create more arm room. So they were going through it and all this kind of stuff, and they did the Alvin Kamara contract. Remember, they did the Deion Sanders provision on his contract early in the year, which to do that, you don't even have to have their permission. That's the caveat, but you can only do it. And if you do use that provision, then what happens is you can't July post cut them. That takes that away from you, right? So that's why they didn't do that. So that's why I was telling people that, hey man, listen, he holding all the cards right here. But all Mickey had to do in the long run was go and talk to him anyway, which he finally did. Now, with that out of the way, watch it in the near future. And I'm talking, it could be a day from now, maybe 3 days, maybe 5 to 7 days, maybe by this weekend, you're going to hear Chris Olave and the Saints agree on an extension, because one had to fall first, because they need to take a portion of whatever they get off Alvin Kamara, and they're going to funnel that through to be able to get the deal done with Chris Olave. Watch and see. All right. Anyway, big ups, fam. Appreciate y'all. Hey, hold on now. Hold on. I'm going to taste some. Hold on. Taste some. You have the right to self-determination. You know what I'm saying, guy? It's all good there. All right. What's up, Gundam? Shout out to my boy Gundam, man. Good to see you, brother. He says, do we still owe Ram? Yes, you do. You owe Ram. Almost $12 million. A dead cap money this year. Yes, sir, you do. You owe Ram. You still do. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. That's the benefit. That's why the Saints don't want to kick the can no more. Oh yeah, I almost detoured myself off the point that I wanted to make about all of this, is the fact that when I mentioned they're playing chess now and not checkers anymore. Because what happens is now the Saints are looking at everything, and they're spanning into the future. They know they got Tyler Shuck as a franchise quarterback. They know that he's a second round contract. He was a second round contract, which means he has 4 years, right? Well, year number 1 is out the door, right? We know that was his rookie year. So now there's 3 years remaining, 2026, 27, 28, right? They know who Shuck is. If they didn't believe in him, they wouldn't have invested so heavily in not just the draft and picking all them wide receivers, getting a future lineman, but also how, signing for a $50 million contract for Travis Etienne. I wonder if his brother still called it. You know what? I'm going to have to do some research on that. I'm going to do some research on that, because he got a brother that play in the league. I wonder if his name is Etienne, because I know the guy from the Dolphins, his name is Etienne, Devin Etienne. That's how, and I look at it and I say, that's how you spell it. His name is ETN. I wonder if his brother called himself Etienne. I bet you he don't. That he just you remember with the little segment from America from Coming to America, the first one, when the guy says, "If Daddy call him Clay, I'm gonna call him Clay." And I ain't gonna do him that, but I just popped in my head. I say he got a damn brother. I wonder if his damn brother called himself that. That man down in Miami, his name is Etienne. Your damn name is Etienne. I know because I know people that spell it just like that. Hell, I went to a school named ETN, so I know exactly what the hell it sounds like. But I'm gonna leave that alone. But this is the thing: they're looking ahead for the future because Tyler Shuck, they know this is his second year, and they probably gonna win this year because he's gonna ball the hell out. Watch for those the Shuckinator doubters. If he didn't show you in the first year just a glimpse of what he could be, this year he's gonna show you a lot. And I'm saying that because he's embraced. Listen, he understands how he's 26 now. He'll be 27 later on this year, right? He's 27. By the end of his contract, he's gonna be damn near 30. So the Saints had an expedited timeline when they drafted this man because they knew he was mature. So the Saints are committing everything that they have to him, signing A-Chain, signing David Edwards, drafting guys around him, bringing Noah Fant, and they giving them all kind of packages. The Saints are just loading the room up. They're gonna give Chris Olave his deal. They drafted Jordan Tyson. Oscar Delp is going to be a part of the offense. So the Saints are doing some hot and heavy maneuvers because they know who the Shuckinator is. Plus, he picking up on greatness. You got an article coming out, I think it's tomorrow, fam, from the WhoDatDaily.com. Y'all sign up for our newsletter at this because this articles come out every day at the WhoDatDaily.com, man. So y'all sign up. The newsletter is free. It notifies you when articles drop. But there's an article that was written that's coming up real soon that talks about because right now the Shuckinator is out there in California working with Drew Brees. And why that's important is because he's embracing the Drew Brees game. He's spending his time, his money to work with wide receivers, running back, tight ends in his own time. And why that's so important to the development is because a lot of people don't realize that's not just one time he's doing that. This is multiple times that they're working together. Like he getting these guys together. And there's different guys. It's not 3 or 4 guys. It's a bunch of guys. They're all committed to doing this. And what that does, it helps so much so because a lot of training camp is figuring out where your wide receivers want the ball. You want to high here. You turn around. You see what I'm saying? The rhythm and patterns and understanding how fast they are and where you need to put the ball so they can go and get it. Understanding their capabilities because everybody's different. Some guys fast here. Some guys you could throw it up here. Some guys you got to put it on the back shoulder. Some guys you got to, you lead them a little bit. This sort of thing, and understanding the nuances and IDing their game or recognizing their game, right? And how they play and what they do, that kicks out a lot of work because a lot of training camp is that figuring out the rhythm of the guy you playing with. But if he's doing this, it helps severely. It helps the process a lot. The more you do to get familiar with these people, and extra practices matter because it's not a practice session where it's pressurized, where you got coaches staring at you. It's a loose practice situation where guys are not only figuring out the where they need to be or how Polk want the ball, where you need to do this for Divine Valley, what you need to do for Jalen Polk, or what you need to do for Jordan Tyson. This sort of thing, where they want the ball, where Noah Fant, Oscar Delp, how you guys like this. Well, you put it right here, you see what I'm saying? Getting that under wraps is a big thing, but also while they're doing that, there is some work where they kind of getting familiar with the Saints playbook because they do have some of the playbook. Maybe not all of it, but they do have some of the plays to get familiar with and the verbiage, getting used to hearing the verbiage and getting on the same page. That means a lot. Drew Brees did that a lot with his players, and that's why he's seeing so much success. But doing it with all those wide receivers mean a lot because if somebody gets hurt, he still has the familiarity down the line, if you know what I mean. Running backs, tight ends, this sort of thing. So get familiar with their signature moves and what they like to do, where they want the ball, understanding the verbiage of the plays that they're running, and just overall chemistry and synergy and camaraderie between players is big. Like wide receivers going out for their quarterback, and doing stuff like that. And what that creates a situation where people then turn and they love their quarterback.
It's my quarterback. It's my quarterback.
That's my quarterback. That's how they feel about it. You seen the tears coming from the face of Terrell Owens. That's my quarterback, man. And that's how they feel about it. So in the end, man, I just think it's special. Now, the monetary component to it is when Shuck shocks, yeah, you heard me. I said it right. When Shuck shocks people, what's going to end up happening is the Saints going to look at him and say, damn, this was a good year. And when you turn around to 2027, it'll be his third year, it'll be 2 years before his contract expires. They're not going to want to wait to the fourth year to negotiate a contract with Shuck. When he shows them what he can do in the second year, they're going to want to try to negotiate a contract. And that shit is going to be expensive. So I'm just telling you off the bat, a Shuck contract extension in the third year before the fourth year. I don't think it'll go into the fourth year, but you want to get that done in that third year. So the second year, because he came out in the second round, you don't have that extra year like we had for Chris Olave. But when you see that happen in that this year when he balls out and it gets to that third year, somewhere between the third and the fourth, before the fourth year, that third year, man, listen, that contract is going to be pretty sizable. It's going to be pretty sizable. So the Saints setting it all up, to understand and know when the time comes, they're going to have money to be able to pay that, man. That's why you got to draft well. The Saints using all the draft picks. Like, think about it like this. The last 2 years, the Saints drafted all of their picks except for one, which was the first fifth-round pick they used to trade for Tyree Wilson from the Raiders. Remember? So all them other picks, the Saints got them on the team, especially last year. All those guys from last year on the team. And plus all these guys from this year is going to make the team. So in 2 drafts, you only one pick you gave up, and that was the pick that was Tyree Wilson. You see? So we're going to see, man. We're going to see how it go. But, yeah, I think a lot of that is coming, and the Saints know that getting Chris Olave's contract done in another year or so, they got to get ready for the Shuckinator because it won't be cheap. I'll tell you that much. All right. Big ups to you guys. What's up, Richard? Shout out to you. See, Q, I'm so glad this is done. Loomis, Mickey Loomis. Y'all heard me. Y'all heard me saying that, brother. Y'all heard me saying, Mickey, go ahead on and call him, man. Call his leadership and get this over with. This could have been done. But it's like I said, it's definitely some truth to what your boy was saying. Tyrann Mathieu was saying about Mickey dealing in bad faith. There's definitely something going on there. I don't agree that he got Allen fired. Allen got himself fired. But I do agree that Mickey Loomis got challenged. He never got challenged like that before. Never. Was somebody forced him to do something? Oh, hell no. God damn it. They ain't forced me to fire a coach. Oh, hold on now. I'm the man, God damn it. I'm that kind of guy, Slick Mick the lunatic. That's how he was cutting up, How dare they got it. And I wanted to just let them know because, every now and again, you got to get that ego checked at the door, Slick Mick. You got to get that ego check. And the mighty Who Dat Nation checked that chin. They checked that Mickey Loomis chin, got him to get that man out of here, and we show what time it is, So yeah. So, but it's good. It's all over. All that's a thing of the past because Alvin Kamara is in here for his final year. So is Cam, barring the Saints Super Bowl run, because they all say that, and they're gonna be looking for an extra year. The Saints run that Super Bowl, they're gonna want to defend it. So get ready for that when it happens. But for realistically speaking, man, I think it's a good get. I think it was excellent. You finally got that done. That opens up extra money because that's what this was about, to get that money so they can use the savings of it to move to a potential an extension or contract with Chris Olave. And when that gets done, then that drops that hit that he has of the 15 odd million in the first year significantly. So that helps out. So one helps the other. All right. Thank you, Richard. Shout out to you, brother. All right. What's up, Reginald? Shout out to Reginald. Yeah, he says A-Train. I like that better. A-Train. There you go. Now I can get with that. I can get with that, my brother. He calls himself Travis A-Train. I can get with that. I like that. Now that sounds good because I guarantee you that brother ain't my name. Shit, my name E-Train. My mama slapped the piss out of me. I come on saying I'm A-Train. Hey, you just we ain't living in Hollywood, man. Yeah, everybody, my mama slapped the piss out of me. Talk about me. No. All right, Reginald says, Shuck and Moore will be special with the weapons. Yeah, it's some stuff you just can't see. You can see it. Like last year, some stuff you got to really study on it. You got to get a microscope and go, that looks interesting. No, not for none of this. When Shuck showed y'all what time it was, and we still have some detractors. He said, well, he didn't do enough. And he said that. Chuck, to be honest with you, he said, man, we ain't do anything. We just won such and such games. We got swept by the Falcons, and all this kind of stuff. There's a lot of work to be done. We finished last in the NFC South. We ain't do anything. That's what he said. The Shuckinator said that. And despite the fact that he finished with 5-3, could have been 6-2. Well, somebody dropped a touchdown pass in the back of the Miami Dolphin game. I ain't going to say who it was. Wants a bunch of money now. But could have been better than that. But the statistics, the man was a runner-up on 9 games for Rookie of the Year. I mean, who does that? He beat out 2 quarterbacks that pretty much almost started the whole year, if not started the whole year, and Jackson Dart and Cam Ward. Who do that? Even the detractors of the Saints, when they were making these awards, said, this guy's tearing it up. And he did that with scout players. Did you catch that? Did you get that? The man did it with scout players. So imagine when you have professional first teamers and guys that are phenomenal players like Chris Olave back healthy, Jordan Tyson when he's healthy. Then you have Juwan Johnson committed to excellence again. You see Devine Valley is there. All of the receivers that we were seeing. Access to the running attack, because he had some running game last year that was running better than what was doing under Spencer Rattler. Post Spencer took the bumps and bruises. He really did, because a lot of the players played better under Shuck than they did under Rattler, and because a lot of those guys they just wasn't there. They wasn't that good early on. They were dropping passes, blowing blocks. They didn't know the assignments. It was a new scheme being put in. It took practice after practice after practice after game after game after game until well after into the second portions of the season before things started clicking for people. And when you seen it happen, then they start picking it up. And then by that time, the change had came in. The pressure of making the playoffs was off because they were so far behind on the win column. And then all he had to do was focus on football. It worked masterfully. It was awesome how they did that, man. And he did what he did with that. Just imagine with all he has now, running attack, having Travis Etienne, like my boy said, and Alvin Kamara together as a combo back. And the wide receivers, the tight ends, the offensive line blocking for him, the fact that he has a pair of wheels that he can take off, he can throw all the throws. He working with Drew Brees on preparation and anticipation and understanding this, and oh my goodness, he got everything. He got it all. You can pick up the phone and call Drew Brees, man. You know, you got it all. That's why a lot of people they already know what time it is. All right. All right. What's up? Reginald says Shuck and Moore will be special. Shout out to you as well. All right. Hopefully we get a chip before he gets paid, because he's going to be a whole lot of vets walking. Got to keep That's the key, bro. That's the key. That's what I'm saying. I'm like, man, a lot of people say Q, they're not going to sign Chris Olave. No, I said, no, they're going to sign Chris Olave. You're like, well, how do you know that? Because the Saints don't have anything on the team that can replace him. Well, what about this guy? And that, none of these guys you got on the team that's on this active roster that's called a wide receiver could has any level of service compared to Chris Olave. You know, there's no guy on the roster like that. No guy. They got a lot of talented players, but none of them done it like Olave. And you'll be hard pressed to be able to take some of these guys and put them in that kind of fire. They have to be brung along slowly and this sort of thing. So Olave is a first round draft pick for a reason. There's no guy on this team that can do what he can do. Not for an extended period of time. He's been here. None of these other guys been in the league have done half of that. Not even a quarter of what he's done. So you don't want to, hurt your chances of taking away the number one weapon of your franchise quarterback in the second year. You need all the guns that you can muster. You need all of the weapons that you can help you get to that level, and that's what this is. So that's why I told him, eventually, you can't run away from paying them. At some point, you're gonna have to pay them. And the Saints backed themselves into, I ain't gonna say back themselves in the corner, but they made an arrangement and told Chris Olave, if you ball out last year, we'll pay you. Because they had doubts about his concussion and injury history. Well, all he did was shattered every damn thing. And now he's saying, you know what? I'm here now, pay me. The Saints say, okay. The Shuck wants him. You're not going to slap your quarterback in your face by getting rid of the number one wide receiver. You got to pay the man. And then that's why the Saints are doing stuff like they're looking for undrafted guys to build them up. They've been doing that. They got, they drafting through the draft. They're not doing too much trading of picks insofar as, they're picking up guys and role players that's not making a lot of money. They're meticulously building this thing, and they're paying the elite level guys that they believe. So watch, you're going to see a lot of these guys that's on the team right now, the Divine Gachos, the Isaac Yiddums, Nate Shepherds. These guys' replacements are already on the team. Now, both Divine Gacho and Nate Shepard are on 1-year deals remaining. Isaac Yiddums still has, I think, 2 years remaining on his contract. But their cheaper replacements are here. Like at some point when Christian Miller gets healthy, he'll be playing. So would Vernon Brockton. Both of those guys will be used exclusively inside the defensive line. Well, it's getting pretty cluttered in there. They gave John Ridgeway a 2-year deal, a cheap contract as a role player. Christian Boyd's in his final year of his rookie deal. So you can see the commitment the Saints have made. Like they made sure that Brian Bresee needs a running mate. Like Brian Bresee, they believe in him. Remember, they picked up his deal and gave him the money, decided. And then now they're going to give Bresee Christian Miller he needs a running mate. So this is going to change a bit. And the Saints are going to kind of work that draft. They've been doing a wonderful job and signing key free agents when they need them. But that's what I'm saying. This is the thing. This is the move, because you can't spend everywhere. The Saints eventually down the line, in a year or so, they're going to have to pay Tyler Shuck. And they got Chris Olave now, so they're not going to spend a ton of money elsewhere. So the kick in the can is gone because of what I just said. They don't want to do that anymore. All right, Scoop says, hopefully we win a chip before. Yeah, I said that. Okay, thank you. I think I played that one already. Thank you, brother. Gunner said, if the Saints show out in 2026, you think we get a national TV time, bro? Oh, yeah, no doubt, bro. I think the Saints, man, this year because they have the little shifting of the schedules they do, what they call flex scheduling. That's going to change it because the Saints going to become must see TV. And the reason why is because the Saints, I call them the fast and furious Saints because they got speed on the offense and a quarterback that can throw at every level. He can throw short, intermediate, and he can wing out the deep ball. Not to mention that he getting on code with his wide receivers patterns and rhythms and where they want the ball. He's understanding the offensive philosophy, even so much so that y'all guys seeing in the OTAs and going into even the vet mini camp that occurred several weeks back, you started seeing them usually do these little light work throughs and all this kind of stuff. You seen Kellen Moore open up more offense and was doing installation there. He said so when they asked him about it, he said, yeah, I thought usually you kind of lay up off it and you do something else. He said, I felt like we had enough where we can kind of work them more and put some more wrinkles in it. So you seeing that happens. And not only that, but Shuck in this second year has command of Kellen Moore's offense, which means that he's telling Kellen Moore which plays he likes and which plays he don't like. That's what he's doing. That gives him the command. It is his offense now. That's a big deal than what it was last year when they was trying to figure out if he had if he had the heart for it or whatever you want to call it. But yeah, no doubt about it. The Saints offense will be explosive. Tyler Shuck is going to electrify the NFL. I'm gonna just be honest with you. He's going because and not I ain't gonna say we gonna just be dominating people, but it's a process where you see them getting the Kellen Moore's offense is very QB friendly, and it was stifled last year because the Saints simply didn't have the correct pieces. You didn't have tall, physical wide receivers that can go and get the ball, guys that can get upfield. We had a limited amount of them. Our receivers was too small. That's different. You got Oscar dealt with the third round pick, 6'5", 260. Athletic gifts, catching the ball, whatever. Noah Fant here. He's another one of these guys, Juwan Johnson, running them 3 to 4 tight end packages in the red zone, helping out with blocking, doing this sort of thing. You see a lot of stuff going on. You see all the wide receivers they drafted. You've seen some of the moves. So the Saints are definitely, man, going to get vertical. This offense is going to have a lot of verticality to it, as I call it. So, we'll see. Richard says, what are you saying about Shuck's contract is why I don't want them to pay $38 million for a receiver. Nothing against Olave, but the draft is full of wide receivers. Draft full of wide receivers, but none of them are Chris Olave. I mean, you got potential there, right? There's potential there. I mean, Olave's potential realized. Jordan Tyson is as talented he is. He's still potential. He potentially could do this. He could potentially do that. But that's the same thing you say about all the wide receivers. See, the thing is, the Saints didn't go into free agency and go and sign a wide receiver that even, that you can say like a Jawan Jennings or somebody like that you can then, pair with Chris Olave, right? And I respect him because I know Chris Olave is talented. Now, the concussion thing was, my thing is, if he wasn't getting hamstrings and all this that Kendra Miller getting, right, that's a different thing. But when somebody hitting you in your helmet, how do you prevent that? How do you prevent a guy targeting you and hitting you in your helmet? How do you prevent that? It's like, well, you need to stop getting concussions. Well, damn die. Of course he need to stop. But how do you stop people from hitting you in your helmet is what I'm asking. Besides putting on a concussion helmet and then wearing one of those foam wraps on top of it. Well, he changed that. Last year, he wore the best concussion-proof helmet that he can find. And people were saying, you need to put the thing on it. He said, no, I'm not going to put the wrap on it, right? So he wore the concussion helmet. It worked. He played all of the year except for the last year. And the injury he got was a blood clot situation. That had nothing to do with the concussions. Plus, he excelled with catches and receptions. Reception yardage, touchdowns, all this type of stuff. Yards per catch. He was tearing it up. And he was doing this without a proper complement wide receiver next to him to draw attention away from him. See, that's a different thing when you could say, I got Johnny Taylor over here. It's different when you can say that I got Isaac Bruce over here, like what your boy had, Torrey Holt. He had Isaac Bruce. Um, and naming all these other great wide receiver tandems in the league because they play off each other. You got a guy over here drawing attention off of me, so I don't have to deal with a cornerback and a safety. So I got a guy guarding me, corner follow me, and I got a safety over the top I got to watch out for. But he wasn't just running out routes; he was running vertical routes. He was running stuff inside. He was going all whatever you need him. He was going. So he was going in the trees. He was going in the forest, so to speak, right? And he was running on the beach, meaning he was going down the field. So he did all this without a compliment. He didn't have a guy to draw power from him. You see what I'm saying? So that speaks a lot. And once again, if Shuck wants him, the Saints gonna pay for him. They're not gonna mess with the Shuckinator. They're not gonna take away the man number one wide receiver. They're not gonna do that. That'll be a bad decision. All right, what's up, Terrence? Shout out to you, my brother. Appreciate you, my man. Thank you, sir. Appreciate you, brother. All right, what's up, Jaden? Shout out to you, man. AK-41 saga is over with now. Man, can't wait to see what this team looks like starting in the preseason and into the season. Yes, indeed, man. I'm with you. Shout out to you, my brother. Yes, indeed. Yeah. What's up, fam? What's it Reggie say? Ooh. Hold on now, goddammit. Hold on, man. Hold on. I'm Slick Mick. Don't play with me like that, goddammit. Yeah, old Mickey, man. He's something else, boy. That old Slick Mick, man. All right, Jade says Q, happy to 49. Yeah, I read that one. All right. Thank you for that, brother. Yeah, this is something. He said, yeah, the thing is Olave's agent would be a fool to take less than London Drake. He gonna get his money, bro. He gonna get it. And the thing is, I respect how he handled it because he didn't remember how previous players did, fam. Hold on, let me plug my laptop up. Hold on. Damn wire down here. All right. Y'all remember how previous players handled this stuff? Remember how Chauncey Gardner-Johnson handled it? Y'all remember that? Chauncey Gardner got mad because the Saints drafted Alante Taylor. So what he did was he would show up to camp. At first he didn't show up to camp, and then he started showing up to camp and then leaving half the day, right? So what happened was, while that was happening, Alante Taylor was getting reps in practice, and eventually the Saints traded Chauncey Gardner-Johnson for a ham sandwich and a half-drink Coke. And Alante Taylor stepped in this position and played the star role eventually, moving past Allen into the Kellen Moore era, up to the point where he got a $60 million contract, annually $20 a year for the Titans. The moral of the story is, even though they're not moving the way you want to move, you're still under contract. You're a professional. You still have to honor your contract. And that's what Chris Olave did. He said there will be no holdouts. I haven't heard anybody give him any love for that. They always call the wide receivers a diva, but there is no divish behavior from our guy, Chris Olave. Can we give him love for that? Just saying, man. People always tell me, Q, we don't need to pay him that kind of money. Fam, I mean, when a man ball out and he make his numbers, go check the stats and what guys in his range are making. But even though people call the wide receivers a diva, Chris Olave never was a diva to the Saints. All he did was ever go and try to produce. And last year he balled out and really showed some stuff, and he deserved to get paid. He deserved to get paid, man. We don't give him no credit for not being a diva, right? When you look over there with the 49ers guy with Brandon Ayuk, he up there talking about holding up 49ers. The Washington Whataburger colors. Who do that? This man is under contract with the team, and he should be proud and happy that he making millions of dollars playing a children's game, right? In the age of how the economy is. But look what he doing, huh? But nobody's look at Chris Olave and say, look at this type of thing. Man, come on, man. That man, I would pay the man. The man want to be here, man. The man believe in the city, believe in the team. Give Chris Olave some love, man. Give him some love. All right, let me see where I was at here. I missed a, you know, hold on. Y'all got any questions? Throw it in there, man. I'm going to talk to y'all a little longer before I break on out. If y'all got questions, man. If y'all ain't got no more questions, I'm probably going to get ready to jump on out. Richard says, I agree with Scoob. Loomis effed up. And I get you. And the whole, you meaning the deal with Cam. Yeah, that was, if he made a mistake, that's the mistake that I'm talking about. Like, that slowed everything down to the point where they started fixating in on Alvin Kamara's money. That's what this had. I severely doubt this would be going on if that situation with Cam earlier would have got corrected. Meaning, for those who just joined the stream, we talked about this earlier. The whole thing with Alvin Kamara went about because they're trying to find money to direct in some increment to Chris Olave. That's what this is about. Had they signed Cam Jordan before his contract expired earlier in the year, they wouldn't have not been hit with almost a $19 million cap hit for 2026. If they would have re-signed him, that amount would have been severely reduced and the Saints would have access to that money. But that's what I'm saying. That's why this is important now. He got hit with $19 million. Cam, they waited out Cam and he eventually came back, but that was a major mistake by the Saints. That was a major mistake by the Saints because it cost them. So they had to get it from somewhere. So they said, hey, you know what, Chris Olave? Alvin Kamara. Well, hold on, Alvin. Hold on there, guy. Even though we agreed to this contract, because I was there. I was eating some clam chowder. I was and Kai was sitting there talking to you, and we actually take that extension 2 years ago, right, to help the team, and we'll appreciate that. Thank you very much. But right now, today, guy, you ever heard that song by Janet Jackson? What have you done for me lately? Well, hold on now, goddammit. 2026, I need you to take another cut here, buddy. Well, Mickey, hold on, Mickey. I signed the contract 2 years ago, bro. You asked me to do this and take, something to help the team and all that, and I did it. Well, now what you want me to do? Well, hold on now, guy. I'm asking you to do it again, but again, oh my goddammit. So, it's this type of thing. And, and I'm glad it's over with, man. I'm glad it's done. All right. Reginald says, Q, be honest. Do you see the Saints winning? Yes, I do see that, bro. I'm not, fanning it up or being a super supporter of the team. No, I actually think, realistically speaking, man, I do have the ability to kind of span out and show respect to the rivals because, the Carolina Panthers family watched the show. Falcons, my dog Lowe, my dog Dave and Shot from the PNP camp, Lowe from Big Country, Big Low Country Sports. My dog from the Buck side of things, Big Game James podcast. I respect them brothers. I got nothing but respect and love for them, man, for what they do and they love for their teams. And every now and again, we'll get into some stuff about who's better. But realistically speaking, I do think that the Saints are in position to challenge for the NFC South. I really do. And a lot of it is due, they have no, and listen, we're not going to overlook the Carolina Panthers. Again, they'll have it on their mind to beat the Saints because we swept them last year, right? They'll have that on their mind. I know the Saints do realize they have business to take care of against the Falcons. The Falcons swept the Saints. So like I said, it's stuff to be watched out for in the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. All these people made some interesting and smart decisions. And Atlanta has some stuff I was curious about, but nonetheless, the reality is everybody made some good moves, draft-wise, free agency. So we'll see, and there will changes in the coaching staff, all this sort of thing. But with that being said, I think the Saints stand a big chance. I do think that they can win the NFC South. Matter of fact, I'm saying they're going to win it. They're going to win it because it is incredibly difficult to stop these people that we got. And I know Kellen Moore and I know Chuck going to use them. It'll be incredibly difficult to stop what the Saints about to roll out. It's going to be it's going to be ridiculous. You thought it was tough. Carolina thought it was tough last year. They spent a lot of money on their defense. They're going to need every bit of it because the Saints offense ain't coming. They ain't coming to play no games, man. They're going to be some embarrassing going on. Scoop says Q teams are going to be sharks in the bayou on, on our roster cut down day. We're going to lose some good players. Yeah, a lot of good players, man. There's a lot of really good players. Undrafted guys that I like. There's some articles on the WhoDatDaily.com, man. Y'all can check out. There was a 5 undrafted gems. They talked about Michael Heldman and Xavier Harris. Breakdowns on all that, man. Really interesting. Scoop says Chris is going to be the highest paid receiver in the NFL. If not, I'll be shocked. Thank you, brother. All right. Yeah. Reginald says working with Drew. Shuck will turn it up like he throws the deep ball and his running. Yeah, that running ability is another thing, fam. That is difficult to stop the Shuckinator. All right. Yeah, Duke. Shout out to you, Duke. Appreciate you. Hemisphere says reluctantly, Alante Taylor took the star role. He wanted to be outside. He did. And remember, Alante Taylor was brought in to be a safety, right? He was a guy that had the ability to play the corner position, right? But he knew what it. But Alante, over time, because he wanted the money, at the time, a lot of people don't see. Well, Alante got the $60 million this year, but that's what your boy was trying to do. Chauncey Gardner-Johnson was trying to do. He was trying to make outside cornerback, like it's cornerback 1, cornerback 2 money at the nickel position. And people, there's a cap on how much money at the time they were willing to pay a nickel back. So. But he at one time had the ability to play safety too. So you had he was the defensive back who could play safety and corner, and Alante Taylor banked out. I didn't think that surprised me that they paid him that money, but good for him. Good for him. All right, yeah. Duke says, play smart high. Yeah, just and people are saying that more by the day when you watch a lot of the commentators. They're talking about like that every day now about the Saints. They're giving it and putting it out there. So I mean, it's not a secret no more, man. I mean, at one point it was, but when you see what he's doing, it in the word is reaching out like, man, this guy working with Drew. Because you got to remember, the man is going to be 27 this year. He ain't no 21-year-old, 22-year-old. They got to figure it out. The guy had spent 7 years in college. A lot of time he was holding the clipboard, which means he got familiar with the schematics and everything tied to understanding what you had to be as a quarterback. He always had the athletic ability and a strong arm. And now he went through a season where he's totally healthy. He's in control of the Saints offense. They spent money to build up the offensive line, to give him a running game, take pressure off of him. They gave him, extra tight ends. Oscar Delpin, no offense there. They drafted 3 wide receivers in the draft and an offensive lineman at the right guard position. They got Cesar Ruiz. The weak link is Cesar Ruiz, but they got him pissed off now. Now we got him pissed off and saying, man, I'm going to do this. Which is all I can really ask for, because I'm like, dude, step it up. Now the viewing lens is going to be on him like it was on Penning. Remember that when they're going to be looking at him. He's going to have to show up. So I mean, what more can you ask? And then of course Eric McCoy told Teron Armstead on his show, shout out to him, that he's 100% healthy and he felt like he did prior to when the injuries were stacking up on him. So that is awesome too, to have him there. And you talk about IQ. That's McCoy. He takes pressure off the quarterbacks, knows what the protections are and the stuff thing. He takes a lot of pressure off of Shuck, so Shuck can just play football. Even though Shuck knows that too, but having McCoy there is an additive. The only problem I would have looking at the team would be, where am I at with the backup center position? I like Torricelli Simpkins, but I do believe that he needs competition. I think Will Sherman is supposed to be a guy that competes with him at that position. That's what I'm hearing. So we'll see, man. We shall see. Richard adds that one of my biggest concerns going into the year as far as the offense goal is McCoy. He's only played 7 games of each of the past 2 seasons. If he plays 15 or so games, the O-line will cook. I get you, man. Yeah, the losing out on Eric McCoy has been bad, man. That's been real bad, man. Real bad. And he also Caesar not this year. Caesar Ruiz is not going anywhere this year. I think the Saints that might be a future move like down the line because if y'all look at the capnomics after this season, you can start seeing what kind of moves you can see the Saints have and guys that could potentially be moved for next year for the greater good. And what I'm saying is in 2027, they got a lot of cap hits that's going to be a lot of people worth a lot of money from a cap hit standpoint that need to produce. Cesar Ruiz next year going to be over $14 million in cap hit money. McCoy's numbers, he'll be almost $18 million in cap hit money. The largest 2 contracts will be Chase Young, which be over $26.3 million in dead cap money. And another player that I keep telling y'all about that needs to step the hell up, he could be a problem next year, is $20.9 million in dead cap money from Carl Granderson. I'm telling you this, y'all, I'm warning, let y'all know about the Carl Granderson thing. Because the way they looking at money's changed, like we saying with Elvin's money. This stuff done changed. It's not the same anymore. They're not looking at it as the same. They're looking to save money anywhere they can. And this whole situation, like if Carl Granderson can't produce 8 sacks a year, I mean he did what? 6 sacks last year and 5.5 the year before, and he played in over 30 games over the last 2 years. You're not producing enough sacks, man. They're not paying you for tackles for loss, giving you that kind of money for tackles for losses and just tackles, period. No, you get paid money when you get the sacks. And if you got Chase Young getting 10 double-digit sacks and Cam getting up 8 past 8, ain't no excuse for Carl Granderson, especially if you got Tyree Wilson here and he get 8. If he get 8 sacks, if he get more sacks than him, then this gonna be interesting, man. Like I keep telling y'all about Carl Granderson. Since he got that contract, his sacks have went way down, and he been playing. He been playing in the game. It's not a game though. Next year it's almost $21 million in dead cap money coming his way. I'm telling you, he got to get them sacks up, or he can be sacked. I'm telling you, this is serious bill right here. We're gonna look. All right. Yeah, you got a backup center. Torrey Sally Simpkins is the backup center. They have faith in that guy, right? All right. Tim says if Ellis is the outside linebacker, who you got in middle queue? It's gonna be Werner. It's gonna be Pete Werner, bro. Because Brandon Coach Staley believes in Pete Werner. But remember, Werner will get the reps, but I don't see them changing the philosophy like what he did last year. Y'all remember that he kind of co-started Stutzman with Pete Werner, and that experiment gave Werner new life. Like he wasn't hurt. He played all of the games. And he had a solid year. I think he had 70-something tackles. And Stutzman had like 50-plus tackles last year. So the co-starting thing actually worked when they had that, like, they had DeMario on one side, Pete there, and then they would take Pete out and put Stutzman in there. And it actually worked. I'm thinking they probably will do the same thing this year. He said, I like Stutzman. Stutzman is more athletically inclined than Pete Werner. But, he's not super athletic. He's just more athletic than Pete Werner is. That's the thing, we have to look at. But, yeah, I can still see him doing the same experiment he did last year. Chase finna earn the boot. He says he earned the loot. I'm sorry. I got old boy pegged for 13. Yeah, he stay healthy, bro. He done realize some stuff. See, Chase Young got around Cam Jordan and DeMario Davis. And when he got around them two pros taught him how to have longevity. They taught him how to train, how to work. And he says that all the time. He called them OGs that showed him something. He always had athletic gifts. But the thing is, he would get hurt. The Saints really took a massive gamble on him, and he came in. The staff was able to get more. And by the way, the Saints have excellent staff, health staff here to deal with the soft tissue injuries. You've seen them significantly be reduced. The medical data said 60% of the soft tissue injuries from last year went down with the Saints, and that's because of bringing in guys like the trainer Ted to be able to do this and make things happen. So I mean that's a part of it as well. And he missed 5 games last year and still had 10 sacks. So he's really enthused. Plus having Cam back, the pressure's on. They got to get to the quarterback next year to help out. Like the O-line, but can they stay healthy? We will see. Yeah. The O-line has to stay healthy. The offensive depth of Dylan Reduce and a few guys, I'm not really impressed with that. But I understand, you got so much you can spend. Yeah, Scoop says he's the tackling machine. Yeah. Yeah, he reminds me of Luke Kuechly. Yeah. Maybe not as athletically gifted as Kuechly, but Stutzman is definitely a guy that Brandon Staley likes a lot. Pete Werner is the holdover. Pete been here for a while. He's a holdover from the Dennis Allen defense. And Stutzman is the guy that was drafted by Staley. So eventually Stutzman gonna end up with that job. Scoop says, yes, they do. QR medical staff is now a plus. Yes, indeed. That staff is, man, for both, because on the Pelican side, it happened too. They changed they brought in all the medical staff. It's now a plus for us. Now it's no longer a situation where guys getting hurt all the time. The guy knows how to train them, and that's one of the big moves that Coach Kellen Moore talked about when they brought the guy over here from Philadelphia. He comes here, he knows how to train athletes to play football. He don't train them to be track stars. He trains them how to play football. He broke it down. I remember playing it for you on it. His philosophy and with it is really fun, is really interesting, because he talked about bursts. I think I forgot the terminology he used, but he talked about bursts and this type of thing. He spoke saying that, what good is me teaching you to run around a track full speed when you're playing football? That's not what you're going to do football. He said you're going to operate in bursts, meaning you're going to get down in a stance if you're a defensive lineman, and then you're going to have a burst. Then you're going to stop. You're going to run, this sort of thing. So he basically, I ain't going to say he created, but he targets his training in a way where it simulates football activity. That's brilliant. Not just training and lifting weights, but everything has a purpose because it mirrors what you're doing. So if you were getting in a stance as a defensive lineman, then his exercises or whatever, or his training will simulate that, what you're doing, and getting your body used to doing that. You see what I'm saying? And it's quite brilliant. It's quite brilliant. It's the next level of thinking, because no other training I ever heard from the Saints talk like that. They it's just they pay that guy some money, man. Keep him. All right. And then Hemisphere says, I got a good feeling about Stutzman. Sinker's going to ball out too. Yes, indeed, man. It's going to be awesome, man. The bottom line is the Saints are headed in the right direction, man. Congratulations to AK-41 for making it happen with the Saints and getting this restructure done, because this now going to open up lanes for the Saints to be able to sign Chris Olave. That's the next shoe to drop before the draft. So what year? Today it is. It's the 15th. The 29th is the deadline. Between now, I wouldn't be surprised if it's tomorrow or even the weekend or the week after. You're gonna be hearing news from an Olave extension is done. That's the next shoe to drop before we hit training camp. Watch and see. All right. So anyway, that's what I got for y'all today, man. I appreciate y'all for being on the stream, man, being live with y'all for tonight. Big good news for the Saints. Finally restructuring Alvin Kamara. I think we can move beyond it and hear all these silly stories about him being traded to the Bengals and all this old nonsense. I'm glad that's over with. And now we can just focus on getting Travis Etienne and Alvin Kamara in the backfield cutting up, man. It's going to be awesome. Anyway, with that being said, shout out to you guys and shout out to FanDuel. the sponsor of the show. Y'all get y'all prop bets in, and at FanDuel, they got all kind of stuff going on that you can bet on. We know with the season not here yet. We know a lot of off-season stuff is going on, but they got a lot of stuff to bet on at FanDuel. Y'all check out their sports book, man. FanDuel doing it big. So with that being said, man, listen, man, shout out to you guys. Appreciate you guys. Shout out to the Patreon and YouTube membership family. We did have a new episode of the show, a reaction stream to what we heard from Tyler Shuck. He was interviewed by Chris Long on the Green Light Show. We reacted to that. That's available for the Patreon and YouTube membership family, man. And shout out to y'all for y'all support financially, man. Without y'all, man, we wouldn't be here. So with that being said, man, I'm going to get at y'all on the next one, man. Much love, peace, and who that to you.
Yeah. Boogie like Vincent, I'm a who that. I'm a who that. Long as I'm living, I'm a who that. Lose or winning, I'm a who that. Sports Coma, yeah, this is where we do that. Where we do that, 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 Boogie like Vincent, I'm a who that. I'm a who that. Sports Coma, this is where we do that. Where we do that. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Somebody please better help. Running this thing like Elf. I thank God every day I'm not a felt. Go to YouTube Live with Big Q and the guys. If you ain't ride or die, the bandwagon get flipped. Been marching in, that was way for the ring. I was yelling out your shade for the championship. Bucking on town, duck down. Falcons, pluck, get shut down. Panthers ain't much touchdown. The vision really belong to us now. So much hate on the Saints, you could probably tell. Ever since Bounty Gate hit the NFL, when things seem fishy, then you probably smell the crooked referees or Roger Goodell. Yeah, probably like this, and I'm a who that. Every day I'm living, I'm a who that. Lose or winning, I'm a who that. It's the Sports Coma, this is where we do that. Where we do that, where we do that, where we do that, where we do that, where we do that. Boogie like this, and I'm a who that. It's the Sports Coma, this is where we do that.
You're listening to the Sports Coma with Big Q and the guys on the PRO Media Network.
Hey, New Orleans! Whether you're catching up on Saints news at Jackson Square, checking Pelicans scores in the Garden District, or staying updated on LSU while grabbing coffee in the French Quarter, there's one place that keeps you connected to everything that matters in our city. From Bourbon Street to the Superdome, from Preservation Hall to the Riverfront, New Orleanians are staying in the know with thehootitdaily.com. Your daily source for Saints, Pelicans, LSU, and all the sports, music, and culture that makes our city special. At work downtown, at a game in the Dome, or just relaxing by the Mississippi, wherever life takes you in the Big Easy, you can stay connected. Because when you're from New Orleans, you don't just live here. You stay in the NO. That's stay in the know. Visit thehootdatdaily.com and never miss what matters most to Who Dat Nation.
Welcome to the Pro Shop, where we create authentic NOLA-inspired clothing for men, women, and children. From Saints jerseys to Pelicans gear, everything's crafted right here in New Orleans, whether you're shopping The Pro Shop, the Pel Shop, or the Pro Shop Kids, we've got your whole family covered with genuine merchandise that represents our city's spirit. Check for links in the description section below or in the chat.